All right. So, this is for the developers. It's something of a love letter, but also I'm going to try to help you out and help you understand what a lot of the players are looking for in your game. I've played over 800 hours into this game. I've also put a lot of money into this game, so it means a lot to me that you guys succeed. And I also, just from the get-go, I empathize with your situation. You're trying to build a game that everyone likes, and it's simple to say that you cannot appease everyone, and it's understandable. Working in the jobs I have as a manager and other things, I know more than most how difficult it is to make everyone happy. So, without further ado, I will go over things that will help everyone, including the developers, in understanding the things that, as a player, what we want to see in the future, but also some of the things that we could tweak and make everything a little bit better. Starting out, this is my personal want. Please make Amelia a playable Descendant. She's awesome. And secondly, the other part of that is I think she deserves it. The other thing is I don't see anything about who she is as far as the voice actor for the character. When I went to IMDb, she needs the credit. She needs that credit a lot. She does great. She's basically my favorite NPC right now, but she would be my favorite character if she was playable. And some of the ideas I had for her were, as far as her powers, was either nature based, so she could either do dot damage, leeching damage, so she would essentially leech from enemies and give it to her allies. Or the other one I thought of was a mech style, so essentially she could call in like a mech, or it would just form around her or something like that, and she would use heavy ammo as her method of attack. In addition to that, something kind of a side tangent is adding new elements. So the obvious ones were light and dark, but that was a little on the nose. So the other options I thought of was nature and void. And this wouldn't just apply to if Amelia became a nature type descendant, but also Valby would be a nature descendant. And then Glay could easily be a void descendant. So like changing that up, I think that would also broaden the idea of other creations. So more enemies, nature enemies, void enemies, Colossus, things like that. Open up a new area, things like that. So I think that would be freaking amazing just to see Amelia as a descendant with nature ability. I think nature abilities would be the best, personally. Also, represent, right? First Descendants was made in Korea. There's only one character that's Korean, Eugene. So give us another character. I don't know if Amelia is Korean, but none of the other characters except for Eugene are. I want to see more representation from you guys. Do better. Like, come on. I know like a lot of companies that make, games in Korea, they go for like the anime style, or like something that's kind of like leans that way, but I think a lot of us Amelia fans want to see this a lot. So the official ideas I had for you guys, and I'll explain as I go. So some of these are really quick fire. They're like very simple, straightforward ones. But for example, a weekly speed run challenge with rewards, obviously, and maybe also on the leaders board. So very simple. Go through a dungeon as fast as you can, and yeah, it's whoever's the fastest at that point, and you get that. Of course, a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's obviously going to be Bunny. It doesn't have to be, because, I mean, you could put, like, roadblocks in the way and little things like that make it different. I mean, a lot of the dungeons I could think of have doors that you can't go past until you kill all the enemies. So there's not a lot of... It's not like it's a straight shot where you're literally running all the way through the mission or anything like that, which wouldn't be a bad idea either if you had a mission like that, just to kind of show it off. But Colossus Horde mode was another one. So having multiple Colossus in a single fight, and as you kill one, a new one spawns, that kind of thing, and you could just keep going until either... So like 3, it would start with 3, you kill those, maybe the next wave would be another 3, and then maybe there would be like 5 waves or 10 waves. The next one was Hell Tower, and this one I thought was really cool and unique. It would be somewhat randomized, but the idea is it's essentially like Mortal Kombat, but we fight corrupted versions of Descendants on each floor, and when you get to the last floor or last whatever, the boss would be a team of doppelganger versions of your team. And I think that would be really cool. There could be rewards for that too. I'll speak more on that as we go. The next one would be a new character that utilizes the fellows as a fighting companion, or just having a pet version, like a character that has a pet that they can control and they do their own thing. That's always there. It's not like a summonable thing. Well, it is and it isn't. So like if it's out, it's out until it either dies and you have to resummon it, But yeah, like having a character like that. But so one of the other ideas I had for that is just you using your fellow as that character to have like some sort of weapon attached to the fellow that auto attacks all the time, and that you can use other skills on your bar to do other attacks. So like the regular attack would just be like an auto gun sort of thing. Maybe one you hit one and it shoots like a rocket or something. Maybe there's one that does like a combined attack between the Descendant and the fellow at the same time. Have dungeons where, as a team, they are separated at the start and have to fight to meet in the middle and collecting power-ups before you fight the boss. And what's unique about this is not everyone's going to get there at the same time. So the first person that's going to get there is going to just start the battle, and while everyone else is still gathering power-ups and stuff. And as they enter, they provide those power-ups to the team and so on and so forth. When they get there, the first person that gets there just basically has to survive, because the boss is going to be tough. And whatever power-ups the people bring to it are going to either weaken or strengthen your party, or weaken the boss or strengthen the party. Coliseum mode, essentially a PvP VE mode, but we are not directly attacking each other, but we are killing enemies as fast as possible to rack up points. For a top score, modifiers dropping from enemies can weaken rival players and steal points. Another thing that could be, I think, fun for a lot of people, the thing I was going to implement for that is maybe have a challenge where they start on a platform and maybe like sections of the platform fall or replaced as you fight, so you have to constantly avoid like falling off the map. Falling off the map obviously doesn't kill you permanently, it just knocks you down, so you have to be revived. But like that could be rough too, because if that person's on a piece of platform that's about to fall, that kind of. So next one was endless dungeon mode, and so this is cool idea. So essentially a team goes in, or single person, it could be either or, but a team goes in, or you fight whatever's in the first room, and then you have to decide which room do you take next. So like there would be like 3 doors, you take one of those doors and it would take you to another room. I guess you could split up if you are with a team, if you want to then eventually converge on whoever like the boss would be at the end. But essentially you go through each of these doors, you would find power-ups, you find things to make yourself stronger or weaken the boss. But you go through, maybe there could be a time limit or some sort of restraint to advise people to get through as fast as possible. But essentially you go through, you could run into all kinds of enemies, you can pick up power-ups and things like that, or you could run into traps, so it might make it worse, like maybe something that slows down the team for a period of time, that kind of thing. But it's endless, so you could just keep going, multiple floors, multiple bosses, and maybe increase the chance of getting a drop for something special. Maybe like a whole weapon, not just a part of a weapon, but maybe like if you get to level 100 or something, you get like a full-on single weapon, like a legendary weapon that you don't have to craft, but you could use either for the first time, or it could be something you could add to boost the unique ability or something like that. This one I thought of a long time ago. This one I think is really cool, and I think would be great overall for the game as like a dynamic for attacks and things like that, but a combo attack system. So essentially, if everyone's using their ultimate at once, it combines, like it does its initial damage, but then it combines to do a combo attack explosion of some sort or something like that. So like one of the ideas was Valby and Viesa If it's just those two doing their ultimates, they create like a giant snowstorm or blizzard. Like it'll actually say on the screen, blizzard activated, or something like that, where the ice turns into larger shards of ice or something that just shreds up the enemies in a larger area or something like that. Or if Freyna and Blair do something where they create like palm that's like toxic or something. I don't know, but I think that would be really cool for all the characters if there was something like that implemented. Oh, this one this one's interesting. So maybe as a joke, but I think it would also be really cool and kind of diversify everything. This is what I exactly wrote. Maybe as a joke, but would also be interesting, but maybe a Rule 63 skin / version of all the characters. Like a female version of Blair with fiery red hair, or a male version of Bunny that would basically be Quicksilver. So if you don't understand completely, Rule 63 means that wherever there is a male character, there's a female character version, and vice versa. And I don't think any other game has done that ever. So I think if First Ascends does it, it would be a groundbreaking thing, but also, like I said, it would diversify the character selection. Like, you get a Keelan that was, a black girl, and so on and so forth. So diversify, imagine a male Sharon would be really cool. It'd be probably similar to Agent 17 or whatever his name is, but still, like, I think it could be a thing that maybe next anniversary you could roll out. You wouldn't have to change much except for how they look. They would have the same skills and same abilities. You might have to redo their voices or something. Maybe have like a new voice actor or swap the voice actors. So like, whoever does Valby's voice originally would probably be like, I don't know, someone else, not Ajax. That's a little too deep, but you get the point. Next one is a really big one. I think a lot of people would be on board for. I certainly am. Let me know in the comments right after I say this, but expeditions for unused characters. So essentially, I know a lot of people have all the characters like myself, and they're like mostly maxed out, if not maxed out. And if you have these characters, they're just sitting there doing nothing until you use them, and no one wants to use, like me, I'm only gonna use them maybe like 3 characters, maybe 4 every once in a while. But if we had the option to send characters out, so like while we're offline, they're going out there collecting resources, that would be freaking amazing. Like, that's one of the things I think if we did would give us another reason to log in, because we would want to see what we got from the expeditions. We want to see what our characters did while they were gone. And of course, it wouldn't be like maybe we build up to something like that. Like we throw out there, like a character would go, maybe 24 hours pass and they come back. Or I guess depending on the region you send them to, it could be like they're out there until you call them back. But maybe there would be a cooldown for like when you call them back. So like you call them back, and then so 2 hours later from the callback, they're officially back and you can use them again. That kind of thing. But we want to do that for so many materials that are a pain in the butt to get. Some of the energy activator items that you need to craft that, or crystallization, or anything like that. Just something so we don't feel like we just wasted our time building up this character to only use it for mastery points. We want to put them out there to do something extra. Please, that if any of these, and Amelia, do the expeditions. The next one is Void Dominion. So an upside down world, or the Void, essentially, where we have to go in, collect materials, fight enemies, so on and so forth, but it's procedurally generated, so it's never the same. It's, different bosses, different monsters, different things like that, but also someone has to carry a beacon around to keep the corruption out. So essentially like a mobile version of Ajax's shield that remains on. Maybe you have to kill enemies to like keep it powered, but you have to carry this thing through the mission, and like you can give it maybe something to power, but also something to expand the bubble. But we have to stay inside the bubble, or take damage and die. And maybe like if you step out too far, like you'll get like slowed down or something bad happens, something like that. But essentially we have to go through this area where it's toxic, and we stay inside the bubble to, survive. Enemies can enter the bubble, but it keeps the poison out, so that kind of thing. But we fight go through, procedurally generated. It's random every time. We get unique rewards, and I mean unique as in maybe something like sort of how the breach thing works. Maybe we'll find a breach crate. Maybe we'll find weapon parts and Descendant parts. Anything new would be fantastic. Cores would be fantastic. Weapon cores and things like that would be fantastic. Something that I think would help just keep the game perpetual. The next thing is craftable skins and weapons for Descendants. Same sort of thing. So if you go into the last thing I talked about, you would go into an area where you could get the materials to craft skins for your Descendant and for your weapons. But in addition to that, because it was something I came up with kind of after the fact, is paint. Craftable paint. Unique craftable paint that does special things that you can't buy that you have to craft. And the idea is obvious, like it'll keep people wanting to get it because it'll be interesting. It'll be, imagine a prismatic color that you can put on your weapons or put on your outfit or whatever it is. Put on your, what, it doesn't matter. You put it on a character, it looks really cool. It glows brightly. It's like prismatic, so it's different colors, like changing, like a, prism, things like that. Glittery ones, holographic paints, so it like kind of has like a after effect, like if you're looking at an object and there was just a layer above it where it's like sticks out, you know what I mean? So like that kind of thing where it, like the paint is on the object, but then there's another layer on top of that that makes it almost like ghostly, like that kind of thing. Unique paints like that would be sick. I would love also that if there was an option for contact lenses for all the characters, because if you've got the glowing paint that you could put on the contact lenses, then we could have glowing eyes on our characters, and that would be sick. And glowing paint of every color, or maybe the option to mix the glowing part with another color that you can buy, and then you can combine them to make a glowing version of that paint. That would be cool too. So you have the option to still, I guess, make money off of buying the paint that we want, but also the option to craft a part of that to make it unique would be another thing. But in addition to being able to craft the weapon skins and the Descendant skins, a lot of us want the ability to have separate pieces of armor, or basically breaking down the skins into 4 extra parts for the body. So arms, legs, torso, and maybe like gloves or shoes or something like that. So like putting different shoes, different gloves, different arm pieces, different chest pieces, different leg pieces, things like that. Because a lot of us we're all about the fashion. We want to make our person as unique as possible, and changing the colors just sadly not enough. Like we like it, but it's like, okay, we could change the headpiece for another headpiece, but that's barely anything. I would love to put like this top, for example, or even better, I would like this bottom to go with this top, or vice versa. Like that would be awesome. So, or like this top with the rest of this, like the arms and legs and everything else, but this top. Like I like that. Something like that. So, things like that when it comes to crafting your skins, your weapons, your Descendants, or skins Descendants, or Descendant skins, things like that. So, yeah, new paints, craftable paints, unique paints, glowing paints, prismatic paints, transparent paints, holographic paints, all those things would be freaking amazing. Contact lenses with that we could change the color of. That'd be freaking amazing. Next thing, for events, seasonal specifically, beach volleyball minigame. I think we were all leaning towards that when we saw all the characters having bikinis and shorts and things like that. There would be amazing little thing if we could go somewhere, have like a beach volleyball minigame. Snowball fight in snowy areas, or just during the season, that's fine too. Trick or treat in Axiom Plains, where we kill special enemies that have like jack-o'-lanterns on their heads or something, and they drop candy, and we can take it back to maybe the little event robot guy. The next thing, new hover bike skins that look like Vulgus tech. That'd be cool. Next one, really big. We got the dual swords. That's awesome. But now, give us dual pistols or dual weapons in general. If you came out with a new character in addition to dual pistols, maybe that could do dual weapons in general, just like any weapon they could dual wield. So imagine like dual wielding two freaking hammer and anvils, or to Greg's Reverse Fate, or to freaking Last Daggers, or freaking Enduring Legacies. Imagine like if you had the ability, like if Ezimo could dual wield 2 Enduring Legacies at a time. That'd be insane but amazing. So, you know, things like that would be just so appreciated. But even if it's not that, and it's just like a weapon that looks like 2 perforators put together, you know, as like a dual wielding thing, I would love it. I would love it so much. Please do that. A tow missile launcher, rocket launcher was another thing. With tow effect, who cares? I think it would just be really cool just to have a tow missile launcher, or even a laser guided one. Would be kind of cool too. Mutatable weapons or weapon skins. So like maybe once you get your weapon to like 4 stars, like this one, or like any of the weapons I have here, once you do that, you could do something where it gets infected, or you do something and it maybe adds another star, or maybe like some sort of symbol that indicates that it's mutatable. And that way it's either a permanent fix where you basically level up the weapon more, and then it becomes stronger in that way, or it like gains a new attribute or something like that. That is one of the options. In addition to that, so weapons and characters go to level 40. And your arcade tuning stops at level 42. So 40 as well, I should say. I want to see if it's possible, and maybe it has a special parameter to do so. Maybe something to the effect of maybe we have to max out our complete module slot selection. So every slot has all of these things in here, all these symbols. So it's completely maxed out. It's like almost 60 crystallization catalysts to do that, right? Imagine if we did that. It's our main character. It's the one character we play all the time, and we do that. What do we get out of it, right? Nothing right now, except for, I guess, more diversity with our cards or modules. But here's my thing. Hear me out. If we could do that, it should be able to do something that I like to call level breaking. And this is something that is kind of in other games too, but I think if they did it in this game, it would not only apply to the character, but also to the arcade tuning. So basically, once you activate level breaking, you get an extra 10 points in your unique arcade factor, and then also your character would also be able to go up to level 50 as well. So because you can't put any more crystallizations into your character at that point, it's completely maxed out. You should be able to go to level 50, get more points towards your attributes, and more points towards your arcade tuning, and that would be the absolute max level breaked character. You're done pretty much at that point, and that's like pretty much end game for your character. You're completely maxed out. It should also be transferable between, like, let's say Daya, for example, when she gets her ultimate, I should be able to obviously do that as well, transfer it over with the one item that we have, and it would also work or apply to the photon imprinter. So if someone's gotten a character all the way maxed out. They level break their character, and they got the photon imprinter, and they used it on their basic to the ultimate. They would be able to transfer it as well. But level breaking is a big one. I think that would be fantastic. And obviously there would still be ways to improve your character because of ancestral modules, but it would be like one of the biggest steps you could take, because I mean that's a lot of time to put into a single character when you literally put what is it, let's see, there's 1 2 3 4 5 6, so there's 12 times 5, so yeah, 60, well, minus like the 3 or 4 that are already there, but still like 56 extra crystallizations that you put onto your character should max out your character and give you that level break. Let's just do that. It'll simplify things, and also kind of show people too that see your character is level 50 that you are dedicated to that character. And I know people that put more time into the game have already done that, but let's show them some love for the dedication to their character, or characters, because I know there's some crazy people out there that have definitely done more than one. Next thing was throwing stars or knives as a gun, and also bows and crossbows as an extra weapon as well. Shoot, let's go crazy here for a second. Dual pistol crossbows. That'd be sick. Come on, like, that'd be sick. So the next thing was a new area. So being sent back to Serena's time. That would introduce a lot of new characters, a lot of new NPCs, a lot of new future content, all kinds of stuff. I mean, why wouldn't we do that at this point? It's like other games have done similar things and, you know, whatever, but I think it would create a lot of longevity in the game too, and more story arcs and things like that. The last one was a bounty board for rare or elite enemies that only spawn in open world areas that have special modifiers that are unique to them, and maybe drop special parts for new weapons. And so the idea was for this that it's a new enemy that drops a specific weapon, and you have to hunt them down. The first time you knock them out, they drop a part of the weapon, and then they leave, and then they go to another area where you have to hunt them down, and so on and so forth. And so by the time you collect all the parts and craft the weapon, then you can use that weapon against them to officially kill them, and then you're done. And of course you could do that multiple times to max it out, or max out its unique ability and stuff like that. But yeah, you max out your, or I guess if anything, I guess it wouldn't have that. It would just be like, I guess like how they decided the ancestral guns or transcendent weapons or whatever might be. Maybe it's just one of the first ones that doesn't require that. I don't know. But if not, then yeah, go with that original thought of just upgrading the unique ability. Yeah, unique guns like that, maybe Vulgus Tech or something, Void Tech, I don't know. I think that would be really cool. That would also drive players to want to get more of these weapons, because the thing is, the weapons themselves would be unique every single time. So they would have a different attribute, they have different styles to them every single time. It'd be almost like procedurally generated guns that, you know, would have unique stats and things like that, and maybe later you could add some way to re-roll some of those stats, whether you use cores or something like that to make it even more unique, or, you know, something like that. But yeah, I think that would be something that would keep people wanting to come back as well, because that's the goal. The goal is engagement. We want people to come back to the game. We want people to see that there's more for them to do, but not feel overwhelmed. We want people to feel like once they get into the game, they feel welcome to play the game and not feel like they're doing chores every time they log in. Because that's what it feels like sometimes when you're like, oh, okay, so if I want to do this one thing, I have to do this every single day and keep doing it and over and over and over. And grinding is one thing when you know that what you're getting is really cool, at least the first time. But when it's multiple times, And for example, like if I was trying to get crystallization catalyst blueprints, I farmed this one dungeon and had somewhere around 60 amorphous materials. I cracked them open, all of them, all at once, and got 2 blueprints, for the whole stack of 60. It's a 20% drop chance for the blueprint. It should not be a thing to only get 2. I mean, I was still appreciative of 2, but that's kind of ridiculous, is my point. And it felt like a lot of wasted time to get 60 of them just to only get 2 of the things I wanted. And I'm still grinding trying to get more, but I am appreciative that the fact that I can get at least 1 a day and it not feel like I am drowning myself in the chore of trying to get more blueprints by doing amorphous materials. So that's a plus. Yeah. Oh, another little side tangent. Can we do the same sort of reroll system for the hover bikes as we do for the guns? When, like where you could select the thing you want to keep and then keep re-rolling until, it might cost more materials like it does for guns. But when you do it for hover bikes right now, you can't do that. You have to re-roll everything to try to get the one thing you want, and it's super freaking tedious. I probably re-rolled 1,000 times with my bike trying to get the max all speed ones or something like that. But anyways, that's my tangent for now. I really hope this actually gets to the developers. If you're watching this and you think, hey, this guy is making a lot of sense, or if you want to add like something to the video in the comments, say like what you want to see in the game, or if you agree with me, or if you want to even elaborate on something that I've said, like, hey, this would also be good with this, let me know, because I'll make another video with exactly that. I'll save all those comments, I'll go through them, I'll review them, and I'll let you guys know, like, hey, this is what we want to see in the game. We love the game. This is why we're here. I put over 800 hours into this game, and there's people I know that put even more than me grinding away. I also put a lot of money into this game, so it's like, sort of the same thing. Time is money. So we want to see this game flourish. We want to see it prosper, and we want to see it become the best thing it can be. So like I said, I hope the developers see this. I hope they take notes. I hope they take us seriously, because this isn't just from me. This is from a lot of people that want to see changes and improvements, and just, yeah, to the director, to Jason, to everyone at the dev studios. We appreciate your work. We empathize, and we want to see you guys succeed. We really do, because it is a mutual thing. We want to play a game that takes us away from the horrors of the world, and you guys are helping us with that, with this game. So please do take this seriously. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Like I said, please comment, share, like, all that fun stuff, and as always, enjoy gaming.
Generate by AI. Generate by AI.